mentioned in Ezra 8:24, one of those entrusted with transporting to Jerusalem the valuable things contributed for temple use. Ezra 8:25-30. 3. Elvita assisted Ezra with reading and explaining the law to the people assembled in Jerusalem after the wall was rebuilt in 455 BCE and 2, 7, 8 later the same month. They again convened and Sherebiah joined in proposing a trustworthy arrangement, which the nation ratified, promising to remain faithfully to Jehovah. NE 9. 1, 4, 5, 38. This Sherebiah may have been the same Levite as No. 2, personally attesting to the covenant, or he may have been a representative of some family by that name, perhaps descended from number 1. NE 10. 1, 9, 12. 12. 24. Shroud, a descendant of Manasseh and son of Machir by his wife Maacah. 1 Ch 7. 14, 16. Shishak, probably a symbolic name for Babylon. J 25. 26. 51. 41. One suggestion is that Shishak means copper-gated, and this would fit Babylon. Still another view is that Shishak stood for Siskaki of an old Babylonian royal register. Sisku or Siska may have been a district of ancient Babylon. Jewish tradition, however, has it that Shishak is a cipher for the Hebrew name Babel or Babylon, by the device known as Athbash. According to this cryptographic system, the true name is disguised by replacing the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet or with the first Aleph, and the second last letter Shin with the second Beit, and so on. Consequently, in Babel each Beit B would be changed to Shinsh, and the Lamidel to Kaf Kh, thus becoming She middle. Shake. The name Shishak may also imply humiliation, for which Babylon was due. J 25. 26, FTN. Sensino Books of the Bible, edited by A. Cohen, London, 1949. Shishai, brother of Ahiman and Talmai. New 13. 22. Jos 15. 14. JG 1. 10. Seahiman number 1. Shishan, a descendant of Judah through Dramiel. Shishan had no sons and so gave his daughter probably Ale in marriage to his slave Jarrah in order to continue his line of descent. 1 Ch 2. 31, 34, 35. Shishbazar Shishmiddle.Bazar, an appointee of King Cyrus over the first exiles returning from Babylon. As he led the Jews back, Shishbazar brought with him the gold and silver utensils that Nebuchadnezzar had looted from the temple. On arrival in Jerusalem, he laid the foundations of the second temple. As 1. 7-11. 5. 14-16. Opinion is somewhat divided as to whether Shishbazar was the same person as Governor Zerubbabel or was some other individual. Shenazar the son of King Jehoiachin mentioned at 1 Chronicles 3. 18 is suggested by some in view of the resemblance between the two names, as well as Shishbazar's title Prince of Judah appearing in some versions of Ezra 1. 8. As RS this theory is very weak, however, for the resemblance in names is not great, and Zerubbabel, the grandson of Jehoiachin, had just as much claim to the title Prince Chieftain, NW of Judah as an offspring of the first generation. Some modern scholars, in attempting to identify Shishbazar and Zerubbabel as separate individuals, say that Cyrus first appointed Shishbazar as governor, but that later Shishbazar was succeeded by Zerubbabel during the reign of Darius, and therefore the building of the temple is credited to Zerubbabel. A great likelihood, it appears, is that Shishbazar is the same as Zerubbabel, and the majority of scholars and reference works so connect the names. Note these points of comparison. In general, what is attributed to Shishbazar in the two passages where he is mentioned by name is elsewhere in effect credited to Zerubbabel. Both are called by the title governor. As 1. 11. 2. 1, 2. 5. 2, 14, 16. Hag 1. 1, 14. 2. 2, 21. Zek 4. 9. Zerubbabel is acknowledged as leader of the returning exiles. O textoi acute muritra longo, Sheol 927 and others to Jerusalem to register their objections to the Jews rebuilding the temple, which work Artaxerxes had banned. However, the Jews kept working in spite of the complaints, while a report was made to Darius. Tatenai and Shahada and his colleagues wrote to the king reporting on the activities in Jerusalem and stating that the temple builders had referred to an order of authorization that had been put through by Cyrus the king. They asked that the matter be investigated. Darius' reply acknowledged Cyrus' unchangeable decree and not only ordered Shahada and his comrades to keep their distance from Jerusalem but also demanded, under severe penalty, that material support be provided from the royal treasury for the Jews so that their temple building and services could continue. Shahada and his associates did as commanded. As for 23. 6. 13. Shiva 1. From the root meaning make equal. Smooth out. Father of Macbena and Jabi. As these are possibly names of towns, however, Shiva was perhaps the father of those who settled there, or was himself the founder of these towns. Shiva's father Caleb Chilupe headed one of the three major divisions of Judah's descendants through Hezron. 1 Ch 2. 9, 48-50. 2. David's secretary. 2 Sa 20. 25. Caesarea 2. Shiva Shebaroth. Or, 7. A well that Isaac's servants dug, or a dug, at Beersheba. GE 26. 32, 33. Compare 26. 18. They reported finding water there after concluding a covenant of peace with Abimelech the king of Gerar. Hence, Isaac named the well Shiba, referring to an oath or statement sworn to by 7 things. GE 26. 26-33 Abraham had similarly made a covenant with Abimelech, either this Philistine king or another having the same name or title. On that occasion Abimelech accepted 7 female lambs from the patriarch in evidence of Abraham's title to a controversial well, perhaps the same one that Isaac later named Shiba. By using Shiba, another form of the name Sheba, Isaac also apparently was preserving the name Beersheba, originally given to this place by Abraham. GE 21. 22-32. See Beersheba. Shibboleth Shib by middle.leth. The password used by the men of Gilead to identify Ephraimites who tried to flee across the Jordan. It means ear of grain or flowing stream. Escaping Ephraimites, during their conflict with Jephthah, gave themselves away to the Gileadite sentries at the fords of the Jordan by mispronouncing the initial sh sound of this password. They would say Sibboleth. JG 12. 4-6 Thus, it is evident that some variation of pronunciation existed among the tribes, even as in later times the Galileans had a manner of speech distinct from the Judeans. Compare Mount 26. 73. Lu 22. 59. Shield. See arms, armor. Sheol from Egyptian, meaning pond of horrors. Evidently the eastmost branch of the Nile River in the Delta region. Sheol, in its 4 occurrences in the Hebrew text, is always associated with Egypt. Jos 13. 3, branch of the Nile. 1 Ch 13. 5, river. Issa 23. 3. Ch 2. 18 While some commentators would equate it with the torrent valley of Egypt, New 34. 5, usually identified with the Wadi al-Arish, Sov Gaza, Jeremiah 2. 18 and Isaiah 23. 3 appear to link it more closely with Egypt and the Nile than was the case with this latter torrent valley, or Wadi. Particularly the Isaiah text with its reference to the seed of Sheol would seem to apply to a regularly flowing stream Nar-Middle.Ha rather than to a seasonal one Archel. For these reasons the Sheol, at least in these 2 texts, is more often identified with the eastmost arm of the Nile after it divides into several branches upon reaching the Delta region. This position might allow for its being referred to as in front of, that is, on the E of or to the E of Egypt, as at Joshua 13. 3. This latter text, however, forms part of the description of the O textoi acute muritra longo, Sheol Ibnath 928 covenant up to Jerusalem and the congregating of the people in Solomon's day from the entering in of Hamath down to the torrent valley of Egypt. 1 ch 13. 5. 1 chi 8. 65. The explanation for this may be that in the latter case Solomon's time the account gives the practical boundaries of Israelite residence. The region between the Wadi al-Arish and the eastern arm of the Nile is basically desert territory and scrubland, so this wadi, or torrent valley, fittingly marked the limit of territory suitable for Israelite inhabitation, whereas in the former case David's the description may be that of the entire region of Israelite activity, the region effectively dominated by David, which indeed ran to the border of Egypt. Even prior to David, King Saul had pursued the Amalekites as far as Shur, which is in front of Egypt 1 Sa 15. 7. And the dominion Solomon received through David is stated to have reached to the boundary of Egypt. 1 Chi 4. 21. So, even though the territory actually distributed to the Israelite tribes did not extend beyond the torrent valley of Egypt, this would not appear to argue against the identification of the Sheol with a branch of the Nile at Joshua 13. 3. And the river of Egypt at 1 Chronicles 13. 5. The word Sheol does not occur at Genesis 15. 18, where Jehovah promised Abraham the land from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. So, here also, there is a question as to whether the river form of Har of Egypt refers to some part of the Nile or to the torrent valley Nachel of Egypt, the Wadi al-Arish. The answer would depend upon whether Jehovah here described the actual area distributed as a tribal inheritance or referred to the whole region dominated by the Israelite kingdom at its greatest extent. If the former, then this text would likely apply to the Wadi al-Arish. If the latter, then to the Sheol. See Egypt, torrent valley of Sheol Ibnath. Eusebius and Jerome believe Sheol Ibnath originally constituted the name of two sites, Sheol and Labernath. However, it is apparently a river on Asher's boundary. Jos 19. 24-26. Some geographers